In the episode Imprimanta 3D Parte Hawaii of Las Fierbinți, the small village once again becomes a microcosm of modern Romania, balancing between rustic humor and a mirror of social transformation. The arrival of the 3D printer in a place where time seems to have stopped is more than a comedic element. It is a powerful metaphor for the clash between technology and tradition, between the curiosity of progress and the fear of losing simplicity. The printer, sleek and futuristic, becomes almost a mythical object in Fierbinți, something that the locals view with both awe and suspicion. Gianni, always the ambitious dreamer with little sense of realism, sees in this machine the promise of instant wealth. His imagination takes off like a rocket, printing jewelry, car parts, maybe even people's teeth. To him, the printer is the modern philosopher's stone, capable of turning laziness into fortune. However, his excitement reveals not the brilliance of innovation, but the fragile relationship that rural communities have with technology they do not understand. Bobby, the town intellectual, tries to explain that the 3D printer cannot simply create everything, that it needs material, design, software. His rational explanations crash into the brick wall of collective ignorance. As often in Las Fierbinți, the villagers' misunderstandings create both comedy and subtle social critique. The printer becomes a symbol of modern myths, technology as a new kind of magic, misunderstood but worshipped. Celentano and Firicel, the eternal duo of mischief and drunken wisdom, approach the machine like it is a holy relic. They imagine printing bottles, money, or spare parts for their old scooter. Their jokes, layered with naive humor, hide a deep truth. For many, innovation is less about utility and more about fantasy, the idea that salvation might come from a machine rather than personal effort. The village mayor, Vasile, sees the 3D printer as a political tool. His scenes are masterfully constructed to show hypocrisy cloaked in modern rhetoric. He announces with pomp that Fierbinți will become a smart village, promising modernization while failing to fix the basic infrastructure. The contrast between speeches and reality is sharp and hilarious, yet bitter. The printer, unused and gathering dust in the mayor's office, becomes the perfect symbol of failed modernization, technology without understanding, progress without context. The cinematography in this episode plays a crucial role. The camera lingers on the villagers' faces as they stare at the humming printer. There is a childlike wonder in their eyes, mixed with fear. The lighting shifts between bright daylight and dim interiors, suggesting that the real story unfolds not in the machine, but in the human reactions it provokes. The humor, as always, is rooted in authenticity. No one mocks the villagers. Rather, the show empathizes with their confusion. The director allows us to see them as they are, kind, hopeful, flawed, and human. My favorite moment comes when Aspirina, the village's sharp-tongued realist, mocks the men for their obsession with the printer. She claims that they will soon print wives who do not talk back. The laughter that follows is genuine, but beneath it lies a critique of escapism. The villagers do not need a printer. They need purpose. Aspirina's cynical clarity cuts through the male fantasies like a knife, grounding the story in emotional realism. From a narrative perspective, the episode uses the 3D printer as a device to explore human adaptability. The villagers are not resistant to change. They simply try to fit change into their existing worldview. They bend modernity until it aligns with superstition. In one scene, Gianni attempts to print a lucky charm, convinced that technology can amplify faith. This blend of logic and irrationality captures the essence of Las Fierbinți, a Romania torn between modern Europe and the folklore of its roots. What makes this episode particularly strong is the balance between humor and melancholy. Every laugh carries a shadow, the realization that progress, when misunderstood, can become parody. When the printer finally breaks down due to overuse, the villagers gather around it like mourners. Gianni calls it a dead genius. Firicel pours a little beer beside it for respect, and Vasile blames the opposition for sabotaging innovation. The absurdity reaches poetic levels. In a broader sense, the episode reflects our collective illusion that technology can solve human problems. The Fierbinți villagers, in their simplicity, reveal the universal truth that tools are only as intelligent as the people who use them. The ending, with the broken printer sitting in the corner of the bar, surrounded by laughter and resignation, feels both comic and tragic. It reminds us that even when technology fails, the human ability to laugh at oneself remains intact. Personally, this episode made me think about my own encounters with technology. The first time I saw a 3D printer, I too felt that sense of wonder. I remember imagining impossible things, printing houses, food, maybe even dreams, but reality, as always, was more modest. Las Fierbinți captures that transition perfectly, from dream to disappointment, from magic to mechanism. It is not a story about a machine, but about people confronting the unfamiliar. The brilliance of this episode lies in its honesty. It does not mock ignorance, but celebrates the human spirit that tries, fails, and tries again. Imprimanta 3D, partea I, is not about printing objects. It is about printing hope, printing identity, printing laughter into the heart of a village that refuses to die.